What's going on, everybody? This is Architect7, and this is Friday Night Live. We got some goodies coming for you. I'd like to give a shout out to all the DJs that participated this week in the live events. And right now, I'm going to bring in my arch rival, my nemesis, David Simonism. What's up, Dave?
I didn't know we were his arch nemesis.
That's what everybody says we are, bro. So I had to, you got to do WWE style. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I like to hear the audience perception of the show.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And then we got Diva with her views. What's up, Diva?
Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello.
We got my man Dialect 718.
What's up? What's up? Dialect 718.
And Don Juan the Mizak.
What's up? Hiphopcitizen Livestream. Architect, you the man.
What's going on, man?
Yo.
Very nice job. Golf clap. Very nice job.
Architect. That shit was tight, man. I felt like graffiti was popping on me and everything else.
Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello.
You just needed some walk to the ring music, huh?
That's it. That's it. Everyone needs a theme music.
No doubt. So it's Friday, the 29th.
Woo.
How's everybody doing, man? How's everybody's week, man?
It's been a long week.
Yeah, it's been very long.
Is this the holiday weekend?
Nah, that was last weekend.
That was last.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what happens when you have babies, bro. That the weeks fly, the days just blur.
Man,
I know that all too well.
Sounds like a good day to go ride in the streets. Wait.
Go loot.
Wow.
Wait. Guess we'll get into that one later, huh?
Yeah, that awkward silence.
Nah, but not really, though. I think that's a good time to mention. Stay tuned for Sunday night special report. We got Architect David Simons and Diva Views. We're going to go over what's been going on all across America, and let's talk about the police brutality and perhaps maybe some of the riots as well. But let's talk about life over death first. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get into that on Sunday night. Make sure y'all tune in.
8 p.m.
Make sure you
Eastern
subscribe on YouTube and as well on Facebook. So shall we get into it?
Yo. There's an event, by the way. If you don't know what time zone you're in, if you're in a different part of the globe, be sure to hit the event calendar, and you'll get the notification when in your time zone. Yeah.
What we got here?
What is the anniversaries? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so the first album we're going to jump into is Big Daddy Kane's fifth album, Looks Like a Job 4, was released on May 25th, 1993.
What joints was on this?
That's the funny thing, man. It's like I really don't remember any joints on this one. It's like I'm stumped. There was a few joints on this with was it Little Daddy Shane, his brother?
Okay.
But, yeah, the other. I mean, I heard it. It was pretty dope, but I don't really remember any of these tracks though. As far as it being like mainstream or anything like that.
Wow. Okay. And what year was that?
1993. So that'll be what? That's 27 years ago.
Damn. See, now I need to check out to see what was on there. Now you're gonna make me download it and listen.
Yeah, it was a dope album. It's just like I said, it wasn't any choice that I really remember.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, let me get into this next album right here. Let's see if you guys know this guy right here.
You might have to carry that one down late while I work on something here.
Okay.
I got to pull up my tape, my electrical tape.
All right, so the next album we have is Chill Rob G. His first and only album. So are y'all familiar with Chill Rob G?
I Got the Power.
Correct. Do you know the story about I Got the Power?
2 versions to that, right?
Correct, but here's the thing. Apparently, his album made its way to Germany, and the 2 producers for the group Snap ripped his acapella and created the beat for I Got the Power, and they were going around performing lip syncing his lyrics on stage.
Wow.
And I guess Africa from Jungle Brothers went to Germany and he heard the song and he called Chill Rob G like, yo, somebody's like performing your song. It's not even karaoke. They're like performing your song. So he knew nothing about it. It became a big hit in Europe. Then apparently Arista Records wanted a piece of it. But according to Chill Rob G, he said that Wild Pitch told him that they couldn't work out a deal with Arista. So they wound up bringing out Turbo B. That's why you got 2 different versions.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a big hit. Chill Rob G's vocals were the original, but I don't think he made any money off the joint.
Yeah.
And it left him kind of jaded, and he never put anything else out after that.
There was a production team, a well-known production team or producer behind him. Who was that?
45 King, and he was also a member of the Juice Crew, one of the original members.
There you go. Okay.
Chill Rob G, 45 King, Queen Latifah, Lakim Shabazz, Apache, and I guess Naughty by Nature.
Okay.
Yeah, made up the Flavor Unit. But yeah, that was one of the biggest crimes to me in pop music. His song was such a big hit, and he didn't even get to receive any credit for the joint.
Yeah.
So wow. Yeah, so this was his only album that he ever put out. But you need to check it out. It's a dope album. Let me get to the next joint.
That's an ill story, man. I knew there were 2 versions. I didn't realize the dirt behind it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew there were 2 versions. I always thought the Chill Rob G version was better because I always felt like Turbo B, he kind of had like a little Ving Rhames with a perm look going on,
Yeah.
Wasn't really feeling that.
That's wild.
Yeah, so the next album we got is Compton's Most Wanted. They dropped their debut album. I want to say they dropped it, I think it was either 30 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't pull it up, but yeah, that album. And what's the next one? So the next, yeah, so I don't know if Don Juan can pull this joint up, but next album celebrating 20 years is Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP.
So it just was the same one that had an alternate cover when it was on the boardwalk or on a dock?
Nah, the one on the dock, I believe it was the Slim Shady LP.
Okay, got you. This was the second joint.
I think this is actually his 3rd album because the first album was just an underground joint. I think it was called Infinite, if I'm not mistaken. That was before he signed with Aftermath. Yeah,
I think once after the first joint, I kind of stopped because I think we were having a discussion back in the green room with Nico about how when artists start getting eaten up by the industry, and I just started seeing it happen with him, and I just I'm fickle. I'm a fickle hip hop head, so
yeah. Yeah, shout out to K Beta in the chat room. He said Turbo B had bars. I don't know how true that is. But yeah, to me, this was one of Eminem's best albums, I think. I mean, hands down, my favorite. This is the only Eminem album that I ever bought. I mean, from the joint Marshall Mathers, Kim, what else? The Way I Am. He had some bangers on this joint.
Okay.
So what we got next? Okay, the next album is came out May 29th, 1984. It was the Fat Boys debut album, self-titled.
Yo, speaking about Fat Boys, K Beta's happy right now.
Oh, he is?
K Beta, I'm gonna tell you what, man. If you've ever seen the 80s vibe mixed in with a modern style, that's K Beta. Okay. All the way.
Yeah, some of the classic joints on this will be Can You Feel It and Stick 'em.
Yeah, Stick 'em.
The classic joints. Yeah, Mr. Simon, you remember this joint?
Feel it. This is not All You Can Eat.
I think that was on there too.
Yeah. Now that put
in jail without
Stick 'em.
In jail.
Yeah, In Jail was on this album too.
Yeah, we used to ask to go use the bathroom and have beatbox competitions in the bathroom.
Yeah, the next joint right here is a hip hop classic. I know Architect knows about this one right here. J. Rue the Damager.
Oh wow, of course.
The Sun Rises in the East, debut album.
Yeah,
The best song on that one is "You Can't Stop the Prophet."
man, that joint. Boom, boom.
Yeah, come Clean, the original, the Bitches. I mean, the entire album was hot, man. From cover to cover. It was a hot album.
Somebody just mentioned talk about the riots. Hey, we got a special report we're doing on Sunday to cover that, man. And I'm sure there's gonna be more development. So Sunday night, 8:00, man, we're gonna step to that issue. We had a little discussion with the crew, and we figured we want to dedicate a whole show to that. So we're gonna leave this for the living part, and we're gonna get to the dirt on Sunday, man.
So you're gonna beatbox for the people?
That's about it. All right.
Yeah, it's going to hip hop birthdays. Having a birthday this week. Andre 3000 turns 45.
Straight legend. Great legend, man. Definitely one of the ones that pushed it, man. He pushed boundaries, man. Had people feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, definitely, man.
How old is Andre?
45 years old.
That's a good age.
That can't be dialect.
Why you say that? 1975.
Because aren't you 45?
Who, me? I'm in my 40s.
The Chubb stuff.
Well, it would seem like he had a long career before I even got out of high school.
Yeah, I think he came out probably at like the age of 19. Because when was that first album? Was that in 94, 95?
Maybe 93.
Yeah, you're right. I personally think it was 94, 95. But yeah, the next birthday we have is Chubb Rock. Turns 52.
Man, 52. Hey, bro. I rocked with Chubb Rock for a long time, man.
Yeah, Chubb Rock was a dope lyricist, man. I mean, the whole him being, heavy set, them calling him Chubb Rock was a big gimmick, but dude had lyrics though.
Yeah, nah, he was nice.
Yeah, Just the Two of Us, Treat 'Em Right, to me is a hip hop classic. Then later on, I think he started to get like a little bit more underground. He had a joint called Beef on I think it was his second or third album.
See, that's the thing, man. When you start getting in your 40s, man, you know you've listened to a lot of stuff, but then you forget a lot of shit that you've listened to.
Yeah, that's true.
He got that joint with Premier.
I can't remember that joint.
Non-pause. He was talking in that one.
Marcus, we definitely gonna address that, brother. We all over it, bro. We're building an outline right now. We step into it strong on Sunday, man.
Yeah, shout out to Jason Fortune. He said Outkast came out in 94.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this my man right here.
Yeah, he would have been 53 this week.
Sitting in the room with my smoker jacket on, boy.
Yeah. Hip hop legend right here, man. Heavy D.
Yes, sir. And man, that album, what was it, Blue Funk?
Which one was that? That's the one when he had the more like house music sound?
Nah, the one that was like it had the joint with Flavor Flav. You can't see what I can see.
Oh, that shit was fire.
Yeah. And then Bag of Blue Funk where Pete Rock produced that. Whew.
Yeah, Heavy D was a total package, man. I mean, just rhyming, beat selection. He had the party joints. He had the lyrical joints.
Because behind the scenes from a production standpoint,
responsible for bringing out artists like Soul For Real when he took over Uptown Records, Monifa. Yeah, he had some. He's a hip hop legend, man. R.I.P. Heavy D. Okay, next up we got one of the dopest lyricists in the game, coming out of YO. Jadakiss. Turns 45. Has the same birthday as Andre 3000, May 27, 1975.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is ill. So Hev and Chubb had the same birthday, huh?
Yeah. But I think one was a year before though. I think one was 67 and one was 68.
Okay.
But Andre and Jadakiss born the exact same day.
Damn.
Yeah, but Jadakiss, man, is in anybody's top 5 up here? Top 10?
He plays with the top 10. I wouldn't say he's in my top 5, but he's up there. He's up there. I mean, like I said, with the top 10 for me, man, it could change. It depends on my mood any given day.
Yeah, but this next MC celebrating a birthday, definitely in my top 10.
Who, Lauren Hill?
Damn, how you a mind reader? Yeah, Lauryn Hill, man.
That's the only female artist can get that prop.
I just don't know. She had a birthday party. I don't know if I'd go. She might not show up.
Nah, don't say that. You see, I wouldn't let that tarnish her career, though, man. I mean, just her body of work, man. I mean, as far as like MCing goes, as far as like vocals go and music,
no doubt about it.
Yeah, man,
for sure. And
Diva,
she bad.
Hey, Diva, how you felt about Lauryn Hill? Diva stepped away from the mic.
Hater.
Well, so that's it for anniversaries and birthdays, man. Let's get to our special guest tonight.
Yeah, so we got another cat from PA. He's from Philly. He represents the 30 and over league. I ran into him some years ago when we was out in, I want to say it was Easton. Anyhow, running around with Born and Adlib and all those guys, and seen him perform one night, him and a couple cats. And I've just kind of made friends with him, kind of watched him over the years. And so anyway, we're bringing in Nico the Beast.
Yo, what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me.
What's going on, man? How you been,
Nico?
I'm cooling. Just want to jump in on the top 10 thing. Kiss, definitely top 10. Andre might crack the top 5, bro.
Okay.
Damn.
As far as MCs go, yeah.
So why you say Jadakiss in the top 10?
Just bars, bro. Like if I was going over like flow, like his flow is the same on everything, but his voice and his lyrics, man, they're unmatched. So, you know what I mean? Those 2 out of the 3 elements for me puts him in that top tier.
Okay.
Because you never, I mean, how many times have you heard like Kiss do a double time flow or a 3/4 time? It's always the same Kiss every time, no matter what type of beat it is, what type of style it is. He gives you Kiss every single time.
That's true.
And that's the distinction between him and everybody else. He could do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of his last project that just dropped?
He went a little bit too far away from what we know of Kiss. You know what I mean? Like to me, it was just too far removed.
Yeah, that's the way I felt.
And especially if you haven't dropped anything in a minute outside of like the the Freddie versus Jason thing. For real, for us to be sinking our teeth into album wise.
Right.
So I don't know. I think I was just expecting like some more, like more like raw.
I kind of expected it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just noticed, man, some of these artists that's coming back out or been out, or the elder statesmen. Like you start to hear a little more mature, like the R&B vibe getting thrown in there. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but in my heart, I'm still that. That bang your head, rah hip hop guy. You know what I'm saying? Even though I got a 9-to-5 and work from home and all that shit. You know what I mean?
I think that's the craziest part about today's game, though, is the fact that, as much as we want to talk about the younger generation and the type of music they make, old heads are still taking tips from them. Like all the harmonies and stuff that you hear them doing throughout their verses and, the more harmonies in their hooks, that's what these young dudes are doing. Right. They started doing that in their flows and in their hooks to make it pop more. And that made it more appealing to people. And now you see the old heads are like, oh, shit, That's working for them. Let's try that. But they,
Right.
you know what I mean? They won't give those type of props. They'll just be like, all right, that mumble rap is bullshit. But they won't talk about the elements of it that are good, that they're pulling
Right.
and utilizing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, man. Probably as of recent, I've gotten to the point where I've let up a little bit because I just got tired. Like I get tired of a lot of people that's in our age bracket being like fucking grumpy old men, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything's got their own lane, man. There's a subculture to everything, right? So it's like just because it doesn't fit you and you are quote unquote the purist, because that's usually the biggest issue that we face, right, in the culture is like that purist bullshit. And I'm not against it because I'm a purist, but I've grown to the point now, man, where I'm like, there might be a couple joints that I like. I'm not going to spend my time trying to hunt it down like I do the stuff that I like. But yeah, give them a break, man. Let them do what they do.
I guess.
Nico.
Yo.
David Simon here. What is your nationality, sir?
Italian.
Oh,
okay.
Paisan.
Hey.
Hey. So what did you want to be when you were 6, 7 years old? Not a superhero.
When I was 6, 7 years old, I wanted to play baseball.
Baseball. What deterred you from playing baseball and end up in this rap game?
Well, when I went to high school, 10th grade, Cannabis came out with Beast from the East, and that was the end for me. That's when I picked up the rhyme book and started writing rhymes. And ever since then, it was more about that, you know, music for me as an outlet than sports. Like I was good at sports, but dog, I wasn't going to the majors. You know what I mean? Like I had bad eyes and I wasn't fast, so you weren't going to see me in the majors anytime soon. But with this rap shit, I had a pretty good knack for doing it. So I went that direction with it. What
have been your most productive year?
My most productive year was 2008, I would say. And 2015, we were doing shows with everybody. Like, it's crazy that you mentioned Chubb Rock because we rocked with him. And he might be one of the dopest live performers you'll ever see. Like, he had chicks on stage with him, and he was like the life of the party for about 45 minutes. And he rocked before K7 went on. So that just goes to show you like what type of crowd he could rock and hold down.
Do you get any of the hatred from the fellow Paisans on being a rap artist?
Do I get hatred from fellow Paisans?
Maybe a little ribbing?
Oh no, they can't rib me on that, man. What are they gonna say about it? You know what?
From all the Spike Lee movies we've seen.
Here's the craziest part. You know what I love when you walk into like a family gathering and they say, "Oh yeah, how's the music thing going?" Which basically means like, when did you quit, or are you going to quit, or you know what I mean? Like that's basically the tongue-in-cheek question that the last year. But that's all.
When are you gonna get a real job?
Yeah. When you gonna grow up?
How old are you?
37.
Oh, okay. I can see why that question would be at the dinner table.
30 and over league. There it is.
Well, Daniel Starnes is fact checking you and saying you were a beast in baseball.
Listen. I was all right. I'm not gonna go out and try and toot my own horn, but I was pretty good at baseball. But I definitely feel like music was the calling for me.
Hey, Nico, Don Juan here. Can you tell me more about what did you learn between the competitiveness of sports versus the competitiveness of hip hop?
I would say that hip hop is more like professional wrestling than sports, because it's like you got the entertainment aspect of it, and you know that everything is kind of predetermined, so to speak. With sports, the element of surprise is always there. Any given Sunday, if you show up and you're the better team that day, you could win. Unless you're playing against like MJ or something like that, then you're probably going home with an L. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like sports is competitive, whereas hip hop, it can be fickle. You know what I mean? It's more political than the actual talent level. Back in the day, it was more about talent. You showed up in a cypher, you spit bars, and you got your props. Nowadays, it's like you could upload a track on SoundCloud and be in the same breath as somebody who's got 1 billion views on YouTube. You're putting into the same melting pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole song is a hook.
Exactly. So I don't know, man. It's the yin and the yang of music that has me more towards the entertainment, the professional wrestling aspect of it than any like sports like NBA or NHL or fucking NFL. I can't look at it like that.
So, what would be your most memorable moment in baseball?
My most memorable moment,
Yeah.
3-home run game, playing semi-pro. With the semi-pro league in South Philly. 3 home runs in one game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you was a thick dude at the plate, huh? You was the big boy.
Yeah. Bat and forth. Yeah, I was always like cleanup hitter. That's what I'm saying. Like I wasn't that fast, but I could hit for power, and I had a pretty good arm. So you know what I mean. Like those would get me through. But when it really boiled down to it, you need to be like a 5'2" player to really make it in MLB. You know how it is.
So, so Nico, so tell me about the music, man. Let's get back to the music. So who are you inspired by in hip hop? I mean, who was it that made you want to get into this game?
Well, like I said, originally it was Cannabis when I first heard Cannabis back in the day. I mean, there was a summer where he came out. He was on Desperados, Beast from the East. There was a few joints that he was on. Then obviously he dropped his album in 2000, which basically put him in that upper echelon for me. But for real, like the way that I take my direction as music goes, I listen to like dudes like Joe Budden, Brother Ali. Like I like storytelling dudes like, you talked about I Gave You Power. Like that's probably one of my favorite songs of all time. Just based off of the fact that it's so in depth. You know what I mean? Like the story. And
who are you following from the new generation? Do you follow some of the new artists? And if so, who do you follow?
I like Joey Badass, J. Cole, Kendrick.
In hip hop, I mean, who is it? Do you follow some?
Say again.
Must have been some feedback. Sorry about that.
Yeah. The second question: do I follow what?
No, I was just asking who was it that you followed in today, and I thought I heard you mention J. Cole and some of the other artists.
Yeah, like X. My daughter loves X. She turned me on to him. Like right before he died.
That kid was
like,
man.
Yeah, and it's messed up because like you don't really know what these kids are going through, man. You really don't.
Yeah.
Their whole lives are blown up online every day. That's what they got to go with. Yo.
Who gave you the name The Beast?
Well, that was a moniker that I gave myself. But Nico comes from I had a dog that passed away back in the day. He was a pit bull. It was my first dog that I owned, and his name was Nico. And my name is Dominic, and in Italian it's Domenico. So Nico is the last 4 letters to that. That's why he got his name, and that's why I took Nico. And then I put on The Beast on it because he was a beast, and I'm a beast. So.
Home runs in a game.
There it is. 3 home runs in the game. I'm like Al Bundy, 4 touchdowns in the game.
That's funny. Who do you think you can eat in today's rap game?
Who do I think I could eat?
Finish. Put their careers on hiatus.
Anybody.
You be the man.
Anybody.
I like that. I like that.
Anybody. See, the thing is though, like for me, the competition aspect of hip hop went out the window a while ago. You know what I mean? Like I really stopped competing against other people when I started competing against myself. And that's basically where my mind state is. I'm always trying to like complete my story. Because if you've listened to my music at all, you would know that everything that I've lived through is on there. Like I talk about the death of my son. I talk about my mom and my brother passing in the same year. I talk about the car accident that almost took my life, battling drug addiction, depression. All these things are getting talked about. I talked about my cousin committing suicide and the suicide note that he left. Like, these are the type of stories you need to talk about. So I don't want to chase other people or feel like I need to be battling them with super lyrical miracle bars and, trying to bar people to death. That just ain't my thing. I've never been like a punchline rapper. I always tried to spit like true story type of shit.
You know what I like, man? I'll be honest with you. What pulled me into a lot of the things that you do, you're not afraid to step into the issues with what you write. You know, there's again, you're not scared to jump into the fray. Not only that in your music, but just from a personal perspective that I've recognized and following you, whenever the issues arise, you're one of the first ones that I see that are willing to step into the fray and be like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I admire that about you just wholeheartedly, man.
I appreciate that, man. Not for nothing. It's more necessary in today's world than any. You know what I mean? And it's a weird thing that we're going through this now. I know you guys want to talk about it on Sunday, but I just got to give my heartfelt sympathies to the family of Mr. Floyd, and to everybody that's lost loved ones to police brutality. I wrote a song about Mike Brown when he passed away, and it's more relevant now. And you would think that would be the last time, and it's sad to say that it wasn't.
And this won't be the last time. That's the problem.
And that's the problem. That's the most major problem. Like, you should have made examples out of these four gentlemen. I won't even call them gentlemen. I call these people evil fucking devils. You sat on a man's fucking back, and then you put your knee into his throat and watched them just die. Like, dude, are you like? You know how evil you need to be to watch somebody's life leave their body and put your hands in your fucking pockets while doing it?
Yeah. It's not a good thing going on now, man.
What was the situation surrounding your son's death? Unfortunate timing.
My son died from SIDS. He was a month and a half old.
How old was he?
He was a month and a half old.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't hear him. What were you screaming out there?
He was a baby.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a baby when he passed. Sadly.
What was his name?
His name was Dominic Jr.
Oh man.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's a weird feeling seeing your name on a funeral card and on the tombstone. You know what I mean?
I completely agree there, Nico. I just want to remind everyone we're talking with Nico the Beast, an independent hip hop artist, also a father, also a man who's gone through great grief, also a philanthropist as well. Talking with Nico the Beast about a lot of different things there and expressing his feelings on the riots even in America. One of the things we talked about often is the lack of consciousness in hip hop. Like, where are the lyrics? You talked about actually doing a song for Mike Brown. Do you think there's enough of that in hip hop or a lack thereof? I mean, are you inspired to opine more on the subject?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And
thank you.
I think that people should be using their platforms now more than ever. And for people to be like, "Oh, you're an athlete, shut up and play basketball," when LeBron posts something or wears a shirt that is basically saying what everybody's feeling, and you try and air him out because he's using his platform to speak on it. Like, that's the type of shit we deal with in America. They'll try and belittle this man and say all the things that he might have did rather than saying what that one cop did.
Right.
Fuck all the other shit.
Right.
The end result didn't justify anything that man could have possibly did in his life up until that point. Period.
Right.
Period. And then when you really boil it down, to die over a fucking fake $10 bill. You know how many fake 10s are in circulation in the United States, bro?
Yeah, I agree. And just the idea of going after the bottom guy, that just speaks to it in itself. You're chasing the guy at the very end of the stick.
Yeah, but then the white kid that murdered the two people in Connecticut, he got caught. They gave him a bottle of water. He left unscathed, and they took him inhumanely. Meanwhile, a dude that friggin' had a fake $10 bill, probably didn't even know it was fake, gets brought outside in cuffs, detained, and asked, "Why am I being arrested?" And that warrants him dying?
Right. And then the crazy part about it is, man, we constantly see what's being written in a police report versus what's being shown with video, and the shit don't match up. And then you got to take your sweet time to even place a charge.
Bro, 4 days.
It's amazing to me, bro. Amazing to me.
And here's the crazy part. We're not even weeks removed after the Arbery case, bro.
Right.
Ahmaud Arbery had to deal with 2 months of nothing happening. 2 months of people just acting like nothing ever happened. And those dudes weren't even cops. They were former cops, and one was related to a former cop. That's all they were. And they were able to get away with that shit for 2 months. This dude murdered somebody on live television, and they still took 4 days to charge him with 3rd-degree murder?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So, Nico, this is Diva, and I want to ask you, because we're going to be talking about that on Sunday at 8 p.m., shameless plug. So where's hip-hop in all of this? Where are the songs? Do you think that mainstream artists are afraid to lose corporate sponsors? What are they afraid of that we're not hearing I'm Black and I'm Proud or Strange Fruit or any of that? What do you think is hip-hop's responsibility for the culture at a time like this?
I think it's more important for hip-hop now because we always talk about the messages of the music today and how it's like, distorting the brains of the kids and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if we really wanted to, if we put out the message that, we need to stand together and unite. And if any cause is worth it, it's this cause. I don't want to hear no all lives matter. I don't want to hear blue lives matter. I don't want to hear not all cops are bad. I don't want to hear none of that shit right now. I want to hear, how the fuck do we end this? How do we stop this from happening again and again and again and again?
So whose platform should they be using? Oh,
all
sorry.
All of them. But see, for me, they should have made an example out of that cop that they arrested today. That would have set precedence right there. You bring him in and you charge him, you throw the book at them.
See, they didn't perp walk him. They didn't do anything.
None of that. If anything, they took him into custody for protection because he's, you know what I mean?
Because people were looking for him. Yeah.
And they should be. This
is everything we're going to get into on Sunday because it's so raw. Things are still coming out. We are going to gather our facts, get our forum together, and we want the discussion to continue. If you want to join us on Sunday, that would be great.
Listen, 100% I'd be down to be involved in the discussion. I didn't want to derail this interview and start talking about it, but
well, I already, bro, that was kind of the conversation that we had prior to the show during today. And I said, we can try to stay on course, like keep things straight hip hop tonight. And we're going to, like Diva said, we're going to dedicate that time on Sunday, but these are the type of things that you just can't avoid. It's going to be brought up. It doesn't matter. We could have had a whole different guest, and I guarantee you it would have came up because this is real. This is real right now. The thing
what is really needed at the end of the day. What is really needed? White America needs to understand what is going on right now and make it bigger than them. And I'm not talking about white privilege. I'm not talking about anything but the fact that they need to address this right now. Nip it in the bud and say, these are the issues we see that are going on. This is what police get away with. This is what they shouldn't get away with. This is what charges they should be brought up on. And this is the criteria that should be met for them to be brought up on those charges. Those are the things that should be in place so that when you see a situation like this unfold, it's in the back of that officer's head. Like, if I do something here, I'm going to be put in jail for life because they can try me for murder, because now I can't just be on some, lethal force is allowed under the law, or there's certain amounts of lethal force that you could administer. 4 minutes isn't enough. You needed to go for 7 minutes. And 5 of those minutes, people are telling you, get off him, he can't breathe, get off him, he can't breathe. And all of that time, he's telling you himself, I can't breathe, get off me, I can't breathe. Like, dude.
So I'm gonna say this, and maybe this is just in a moment of emotion. But if I'm standing around, and I think because I've fed up with seeing it over and over again myself, but if I'm standing around, right, if somebody's already recording it, we have a right. I mean, we might catch a charge, we might even catch a bullet, but why not? I don't know, push the fucking asshole off.
Yeah.
Create a fucking disturbance. There's enough people around. There's 4 cops. They can't stop everybody.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing.
They're blaming that little girl for that. She was 17 and standing there recording it. And there are people blaming her for not doing more. And she is just as traumatized that she had to watch that as everybody else that was standing around. So she already is feeling survivor's guilt. And now people online are harassing her and saying the same exact thing to her. And it's not fair. We can't say what would have happened.
I'm not saying her specifically, or to be honest with you, it's almost like everybody got to take a role, right? Somebody's recording. If there's enough people around, you know what I'm saying? Let's take the next step. You know, and I'm not saying go kill cops. I'm not saying none of that. But at some point, when they're doing wrong, we got to fight back. And that's simple and plain. If there's 10 of us on the block,
what I'm understanding is you believe that there should be a federal law to charge every state an officer involved in a homicide that's unjustified or investigated.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you believe there should be a mandatory sentencing as well?
Absolutely. And not only should it be mandatory, but it should be upheld more strictly because it's a cop. I mean, if you're going to be the person that's administering the law, shouldn't you be the person that follows it to the T? Shouldn't you be the person that's kind of an example of what the law provides for people instead of the opposite? Like, if you're above the law, then why am I not? If you could go out there and murder somebody on live TV and get away with it because you're a cop, why can't I go out there and do it because I'm just a regular person? What's the difference? We're all citizens. We're all human beings. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you didn't look at it that way. You seen yourself as superior to the person that you were arresting. And that's where the problem lies, because most of these dudes, you know what I mean? They go through their life. They probably get picked on in high school. They get these jobs in authority, and then they start picking on people as if they were the ones picking on them in high school. It's all like a recurring cycle.
Nico.
So it should be no longer a state decision, but federal law.
I mean, for me, it should already be known. Like, that should be morality code number 1. If you're going to be the one that's basically got people following your laws, you're the one that's administering the law, then you should be the one that follows it to the T. Period.
Okay, now because there's always the questions of what can be done, but no one ever has answers.
Yeah, and the problem is, okay, so you can't peacefully protest because they'll shut you down, or they'll arrest you for doing that, or they'll threaten violence against you. Like last night, they arrested the CNN camera dude and his crew for reporting 20 feet away from where the fire was taking place. They tried to arrest him.
And his white colleague was like across the street from him.
Yep, exactly, and nothing happened. And that's the situation that you're dealing with.
Hey, Nico, do you think that guns is the solution? Do you think that, I have friends who tell me, now's the time to arm up. Is guns the solution? Is this a Second Amendment solution?
I see it wasn't a gun issue, though. Because think about it. The dude killed somebody with his knee.
Well,
right.
What I'm saying is, you have a right for overreaching government. Second Amendment guarantees me the right to protect myself. Is this overreaching government?
That's exactly what it is.
Guys, that's how Breonna Taylor got dead.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just screwed all the way around.
Yeah, you can't kneel. You know what I'm saying? You can't peacefully protest. So what's the fucking next step? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, but at some point, you can't keep your knee, for lack of a better term, you can't keep your knee on the neck of the marginalized, but for so long before the anger and rage becomes something more sinister than what you're dealing with right now, buildings burning, etc.
Yeah.
Do you think Donald Trump did the right thing?
No. What, with the Army and the National Guard?
I like the federal investigation. I don't like his tweet.
No, exactly.
Some bullshit.
Yeah, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Exactly. And what was he going to say? We're not going to charge.
Do you think Joe Biden, Mr. Black Biden, should be provocating for federal laws against officers and questionable homicides?
I don't think Biden should be the one to talk about that, considering he was one of the dudes who signed in most of the laws that enacted all the criminal laws that you've seen
Thank you.
throughout history.
That still got people locked up right now. Meanwhile, people are making money off the same marijuana that they
Minor
locked
drug
up for.
offenses.
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
Nico,
no, but-
let's speak life into the conversation then. What are you going to do going forward with your music to be a part of the movement or to have your voice expressed?
Well, like music already written around this subject, video already shot for it that I'm going to put out. But they're doing a rally tomorrow. Couple of dudes from a unit called Corfu, my man Trey Digger. They're putting on a peaceful protest in Philly tomorrow. If anybody wants to go down there and be involved, I'll share a link with you and get you information.
That would be great. Thank you. If there's any Philly listeners or you're in the area, you'd let them know where they can join you guys and be a part of that. Use their lives to not have that man's death in vain. And music is how the message gets out to people.
Yeah.
I'd like to address what Cinta said, one of the comments about
Catherine. Hey, Catherine.
About the San Francisco prison system. Okay, I saw that documentary. Yeah. And what was the main proponent of that video was to stipulate that it was directions that they were following. If the people did not do and treat people inhumane as they did, they wouldn't be doing their job proper. So for that to be the subject of this matter, we would have to take it up with the way that the officers are trained.
That part.
And if they're trained to dehumanize individuals who they believe are criminals, then there's something wrong with that system.
Right.
But that's just further proof of the systemic racism within the police department.
Right. Well, I'm gonna wait for Sunday because you're gonna get me going, and we'll just
We'll be here all night.
Yeah, don't even get me started. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, man, I'm an empath, so this stuff really works for me, man. I'm not gonna front. This on my day-to-day journey, I'm affected by this.
Yeah.
And then also not being white or black, and actually being mistaken for white or black. I've always been in the middle of it. So when I'm out in public now, I got to worry about anybody that's feeling a certain way and feel like if they want to start some shit up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the path that I've been on in my whole life, is being in between all this. So it's ill to me because I was never raised that way. We welcomed everybody into my household. So,
but you also have family though who may look like me, who also walks the streets like me.
Right.
So you're not escaping the problem. I mean, you got to be part of the solution as well.
No doubt. I'm just saying from on a personal level.
Yeah.
On a personal level, when I walk the streets, I got to be concerned from both sides because I look, depending on who it is, I'm white or black. It ain't never anything else. That's another problem that we have in society. Everything is very white and black.
Yep. And that's the problem. That's exactly the problem. The gray area is where everything happens.
Right.
The gray area is where life occurs. You know what I mean? Like people think it's black. Like, no, it's not. But listen, you're never going to be too happy or too sad. You'll always be just about happy or just about sad. You know what I mean? You can't be one or the other. It can't be one extreme or the other. That's craziness. That's insanity. If you went from one extreme to the other, so you have to wean through the gray area, and that's kind of where we're falling in now. This is why we all understand. Okay, look, it's no longer black and white, and the dividing lines that separated us no longer exist now. Fuck all that. We need to come together and make sure that people understand that this shit ain't gonna happen no more. Period.
So I received heat because today I posted that, recognizing that a large sum of the individuals that are doing this rioting are white people, right? And I said it warms my heart to see that. The situation isn't the greatest, but to witness that makes me feel good. Like when I'm looking at that lets me know, hey, people are waking up, man.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Here's the only thing about that gets me though. When they showed the footage of the dude who was an undercover police officer starting the riot.
Yep.
Like you can't be the person that uses that as the crutch. Like, oh, see, they're rioting and looting. Like they're rioting and looting. That's the reason. No, that's not the reason for that. The reason for them looting is because somebody fucking threw something through the friggin' window and the window's open and people are going in there. But when you realize who it was that started it, dog, it's a plant.
There you go.
It's a plant that they put in there to make sure that the riot is dispersed by force, period.
Right.
Because if you're going to start looting and breaking windows and shit, what's going to happen? Cops now have justifiable reason to try and stop you.
Exactly.
And meanwhile, it's a cop that started it. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you really want to stop things? Are you really protesting? Are you really out here with their best interest at heart, or are you just out here to stir up controversy and cause a riot and make shit escalate? Exactly. That's all I've seen. I've seen escalation.
And I think that's where I'm at with it. Is like we got to, like, again, as we said earlier, you got to be careful because you'll play right into their hands of the game that's being played. Because it is a game that's being played. It's amazing how coronavirus just fucking disappeared off the headlines.
Yeah.
Is that not ironic? Like, why isn't anybody mentioning that no more? It's pretty cute.
Let me go even further. Before COVID even started, there was all those protests in Hong Kong. There was all these protests going all across the globe. All it takes to shut that shit down, a pandemic.
Hey, be careful. Diva might tell you to put your tinfoil hat on. She gets on me about that.
You could talk conspiracy all you want, but when you got one country blaming another country and that other country blaming the other country, something's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Because now you know that it's being used for political gain.
That's it.
So, Nico, the next project is coming out when?
My next project is coming out in August 20th. It's called Home. How One Man Existed. And it's an album that I've been working on for a long time, man. It's basically like my passion project. More the same, more life stories, and it's just more time that I've spent since the last project to talk about those stories, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, yo, I can't tell you how much I'm like chomping at the bit to get back on stage, man. Like, it's crazy. Because, when you have the opportunity to, or like if you have access to a studio and you can record every day, you don't do it. You know what I mean? You ain't out there performing every day. But as soon as they take away the venue that you used to perform at all the time, or your studio ain't accessible no more, then it's like, damn, I got all this shit I need to get off my chest. Or, yo, I need to perform soon. Like, it's always going to be that way. It's like a catch-22 when you're an artist.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, we kept you here almost hostage. Like, I was wondering if you could spit a quick 16 for me, buddy.
16, huh?
I know you got some.
Well,
I know you got
12
in the chamber, Nico. I know you got something, bro.
All right, you ready?
Let's go.
Nowadays, everybody's fake. Everyone's disloyal. And everyone a snake, and they want to destroy you. And oh, how it changed from I'm a ride or die to I'm just being safe and I'm just buying time. So ain't no time to wait and ain't no time to lie. So be it as it may, y'all afraid to try and rise. And seeing they embrace falling, I pray for them. But most need to stay calm or to stay calm in the perfect storm. Need annihilation so the earth could form. Screaming out because ain't no other way to get the word to y'all. Sink inside the numb skull of a distant mind. Blink your eyes, but once closed, you can miss your time. The stigma that they give is that we don't have ambition, when it isn't how they think it is, but they rather dismiss us. Insisting that the ignorant, man, we lack the wisdom. It's like trying to explain the status quo to a statistician. Constant contradictions like they convicts with convictions, kind of comical, but this is not a Comic-Con convention. This is not a ruse. They forgot the forgotten, invested all that time in you, and you have not been honoring a blessing. Beast.
Nico,
Fantastic.
Hey, Nico, I'm not gonna let you go. I gotta ask you. Everyone wants to know, why don't you show your face?
My mouth is buried, bro.
There you go, from Nico the Beast. Nico the Beast, everybody. Hiphopcitizen live stream. Thank you, Nico, for calling in. We appreciate you, brother.
Love you, man. Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate your time, sir.
Hey, yo, Nico, definitely call in on Sunday, man, when we get down with the dirty.
Bro, just send me the time and the link.
No doubt.
My brother, be good.
Yeah.
That was
Nico
nice.
the Beast.
What y'all think, man? That was great, man.
It was a dope interview.
Thought it was great, man. I just want to remind everybody real quick, you can follow Nico at Nico the Beast. You can look at the screen right there, right below there. And you can also follow him at 30 and Over League. Sorry, go ahead, David.
No, I was just gonna say I tried to go controversial early, but there was nothing there. You know, he was a good guy. He spoke his mind. He was honest, and you know, I appreciate the man for his time and his talents, and I hope he has a fruitful hip hop career long after this pandemic and crap is over with.
Yo, you know, man, and that's the thing, man, with Nico. Again, when I came across him, his music was genuine, and then just following him from a personal perspective, I started noticing what he was posting, and man, I'm gonna tell you what, man, that's a great ally to have, man. He jumps into the fray, man, and that's what we need more of.
No doubt about it. Nico the Beast, man. What a phenomenal guest. Dialect. I don't know. It's our 10th episode, and man, we've been lining them up. Architect David Diva. Wow. Woo.
So, man, it's great. It's coming together, man. I've been trying to tell people, man, Hiphopcitizen, man, we the revolution for the culture, baby.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, Architect, because it's a good time to mention. You know, we talked about the special report that we plan to do on Sunday. Want to make sure that everyone following us tunes in for that. You can also follow the event invite on the Facebook location. And also to remind everybody about the Bash Brothers Big Show. You want to mention that one, Architect?
That's DJ Rags and DJ Scruff. We did an experiment on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, and went really well. The fellas really showed out. And also big up to Unknown for the lunchtime mix that we had today.
That's right.
A lot of good feedback on that. And we look to just bring more into the fold. So just, you know, stay locked in, everybody. Like I said, Hiphopcitizen is revolution for the culture, baby.
And don't forget David Simonism. What a phenomenal, well done job on the Tekashi 6ix9ine. If you haven't seen that, by the way, make sure you check that out there in the archive, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. David,
Thank you.
When do we catch more of you, David?
Well, June is coming up. We bantered around a couple of ideas. Nothing's really stuck to the wall. I mean, it's to the point where everything in this world is now turned to controversy. So, you know, I gotta weed through the what do you call it? The Mishigash and find out something good.
There you go, David.
Sure, definitely controversy.
I want the country to be open back up. I think that's going to be my next rant. Open this country back up. Let's get it going.
So you don't think so just a little to kind of round that interview up, just because it's got my mind going, you know how I'm built. You don't think that it's amazing how coronavirus has kind of disappeared off the front page?
Well,
it hasn't.
Well, we expected it. I mean, we expected warmer weather. We expected some decrease.
No,
right?
I'm not saying coronavirus disappearing. I'm saying what's being reported, right?
Oh, the news coverage.
Right. All of a sudden, look on the front page of everything. Not a trace. Not a
No,
trace.
it's definitely like a page 5 story now.
Right. Come on, man. Wake up.
Well, before the incident, they were the main headlines were states opening back up, phasing back
Right.
opening. So what they don't want to do is tell you if the phasing are not working, to be honest with you, because then they will look foolish. So they're going off of what they call the science of the matter and hoping that by them saying science, that it would be accepted if there is another wave.
Yeah, science
I don't know.
at this point. I mean, does the mask work? Does it not work? Is it symbolic? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like the information is doo-doo. That's all I'm gonna say. It's doo-doo, man. It's doo-doo.
All right, I'm going to shout out a few people in the chat, the people that are rocking with us, the fellow hip hop citizens that are ride or diers. We've got Brian Raganese, we've got Catherine Stenta, hey girl. We've got Brian Starnes that was with us, K Data on YouTube. We've got John Harp on YouTube, hey bro. We have a lot of people that have been riding with us for the whole hour, and they're probably going to stay with us through news and gossip.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said, John is in Atlanta. His city is burning. Hang in there, John. Stay out of the streets.
We got Mark McConnell in the chat. Who else is with us? Aaron Jones is in the chat. You guys have been with us through the interview. We see you every week. We see you. And thank you for rocking with Hiphopcitizen. Make sure you follow everybody, follow our guests, be supportive, share the stream. If you know people who love hip hop the way you do and love a discussion of hip hop, then make sure you're sharing the stream, letting people know about us. We're trying to, grow this and gather more citizens. So make sure that you're letting everybody know where you enjoy your hip hop discussion.
And you know what? We're handicapped because we can't really play any hip hop on this show. So it's a miracle that we're able to present you a hip hop show.
Warner Brothers are haters.
That. What you mean? What you mean we can't play no hip hop on the show?
Because we keep getting notices. We play music,
it gets chopped.
Nah, man, we can play hip hop on the show.
The notices. Okay. Warner Brothers hating. UMG is hating. Who else is sending notices?
Please tell them, Diva.
Who said we?
Everybody's a hater.
Jay-Z took his entire catalog off of last
week.
He
took the whole thing. Yeah. He said yoink.
And play hip hop.
No, you're gonna get us locked up in Facebook jail.
That's my man Unknown right there, Unknown Beats.
Yo,
Catherine, put something on our books if we end up in Facebook jail.
I think that is atrocious. That Swiss Beats and Timberland would turn down millions. Because
okay, let's get news and gossip. That's a good segue. Go ahead, David.
The concept is a fantastic concept, but the execution has been a little slightly off. Mm-hmm. And if they can get someone to get that BET, MTV, somebody that can get that those battles executed better with sound and things, people would enjoy it. Millions of people would enjoy it.
So the article David's referring to, I think it was on All Hip Hop News, is that Timberland and Swizz Beatz have mentioned that they have turned down millions of dollars from sponsors, from corporations. People are getting at them and saying, look, if you sell it to us or if you let us get in on this, you can make some real money on it. But Swizz Beatz in particular, because he likes to talk, has mentioned that this is for the people, this is for the culture, for us, by us, and we're not about that.
That's right.
I was with David in the beginning when we first heard these battles because I'm like, look, they're businessmen. Eventually, they're going to have to find a bigger platform and they're going to want their money.
You think about a bigger platform and I keep thinking to myself, why doesn't Jay-Z just host this on Tidal? I mean, what about the larger platforms like your social media, Spotify's, your YouTube's? Why?
I've heard Tidal is buggy though.
Look, man, the bottom line is this. They've already got what they need. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't chasing a dollar bill. Do you really think Swizz and Timberland need a dollar bill? No, they don't. So I stand by them and saying, this is our shit. Leave us alone. You already got what you needed out of us.
Man, Jeff Bezos doesn't need another dollar. That doesn't mean he's going to turn down if somebody gives him a dollar.
Don't give me Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, maybe 112 and Jagged Edge. Nelly or somebody can use those dollars though.
See, the shade.
No. It's not shade. I'm saying maybe that would improve the sound quality if they know they were getting paid to do it. That might improve.
Okay, well that leads into the next story.
Yeah.
Dialect. What's the next story?
Oh, the next story is Swizz and Timbaland changing up the rules, stating that everybody that's involved in verses need to use the Rollin setup that Rollin provided for them to make the sound quality better on these battles.
So there you go. So they don't need
So
sponsors.
they're getting paid somewhere.
Of course they are.
Rollins not doing that for free.
That's how I feel about it.
Not doing it for free.
I mean, the fact that you do have to start making rules for this, because at first the rules were just, 20 against 20. It was supposed to be songwriters and producers. Now everybody wants to jump in. And tomorrow it's going to be a gospel versus. I was like, throw the whole thing away. Throw it away. I'm just like Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond. Get out of here.
They're going to have a porn star versus next.
I'm like, you guys are starting to go commercial. I'm like, no, throw the whole thing away. Don't start putting everybody in it. Who's next? Didn't David say it a couple weeks ago? Who's next? Miley Cyrus and Christina Aguilera?
You know it.
They're going to be like Raleigh Reid versus, I don't know, Debbie Does Dollar. I don't know.
I think
that's two different eras right there.
It's the climate of the country right now.
Let me hear Dave. What'd you say?
I think it's an interesting idea, given the climate of the country right now. We're all partying like the Red Sea, and maybe a little gospel healing could do us a world of good.
I mean, Kirk Franklin, he's going to bust out a choir and try to be like Teddy Riley. They're going to be in some church somewhere. And
look, just don't pass around the tithing plate, okay?
Oh, an offering plate is going to be there. Somebody in their one of the church mothers in her good slip is going to be passing the plate.
Use the bathroom when that happens.
Put that one finger up and go to the bathroom. No, I just think versus it should stay organic. It should not, but I agree with David that they're businessmen at the end of the day. At some point, it has to leave Instagram TV and it has to go mainstream. I'm sorry. All good things come to an end.
I think it would be okay. I think it would be okay if they just keep it more like within the culture. Yeah, have other investors, but keep it within the culture. It doesn't have to be Pepsi or Coke or Target or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that, but it's hard who in the culture can sponsor it this big? Like Magic Johnson, maybe one of his enterprises. Who in the culture can sponsor it?
Jay-Z. Puff.
He's kind of obvious. Like we need somebody on
Revolt. I'd be happy with it on Revolt TV. I'd be happy with that.
Hey, Sherry T. Shout out to you, girl. I just think that I'm with David. Like they are gonna commercialize it at some point. I mean, now that a gospel versus is on the books, come on.
Hey, Fiend, you're exactly right, brother.
Your Fiend is right.
It's going to end up on Fox.
What's Fiend saying?
The workaround in terms of dodging the copyright is play independent artists. We've been Fiend. That's been the goal, bro. That's exactly where we're aiming at.
Absolutely, Fiend. Saying thanks for tuning in to Hiphopcitizen. We also do hip hop music, independent. So, you're in the right place, bro.
But I got
actually, if you're an artist out there that wants your music played, send it.
Yeah, send it to Juan.
Absolutely. You see the apps, you see the socials. If you're an independent artist, send it to Architect, send it to Dialect. Let them know you'd like to be featured. You want to do an interview. We're looking for those people.
Yeah, I just want to say to all the sponsors listening, Hiphopcitizen is not Swizz Beatz and Timbaland. We're for the culture, but we'll take sponsors.
But we'll only sell out a little bit.
I'll sell some beer. We got
beer.
Moonlight. What was it we were drinking tonight? Moonlight Orange.
Yeah, Blue Moon.
No, there ain't no damn Blue Moon. Hey, Blue Moon is trash beer. Y'all gotta recognize this is local beer. This is an English.
Tell them, Architect. Tell them what you're drinking.
Look, I'm drinking an English style IPA. This is a 10. It's a double IPA, 10% alcohol from right around the corner. I'm supporting local. It's 6 bears and a goat.
Yeah, now tell them to cut the check for the ad.
Right. That's next.
Don't Architect look like he would be drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon though?
Shit, I gotta go
some
get
Everclear out of a jar.
I gotta go get my MAGA shades for that.
The next story is a Nigerian artist graces the cover of Billboard's first issue devoted to Africa. This was on afrotech.com. We want you guys to look at these articles and take a look at them. That's why we're shouting them out. Now, this is a big deal. And Dialect, I know you found this article. What was it about this article that struck you?
I just found it interesting because you never really hear a lot about music coming out of Africa. And I thought it was, dope that Billboard is willing to let these three artists grace the cover.
How much you think they paid for that?
Who's
What
that?
you mean?
Who the artist paid?
Whoever they're being supported by. You think Billboard just did it out of the kindness of their heart, or do you think there's money behind that?
I think there's money behind it.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, actually, Billboard is a burgeoning company out there in Nigeria. It's not like everybody's going to buy to sort out Billboard magazine. So in a way, it's they're trying to what is the word I'm looking for? Not associate, but encringe themselves within the country. That
I know the word you're looking for, but hey, we're all over 40.
Well, wait a minute now. I mean, this is not the first time that maybe not Nigerian, but Kanan was a African artist who actually had like a big hit for the World Soccer Cup in South Africa. Kanan had a big Coca-Cola deal, and he had a big hit.
Was he on the cover of Billboard though?
I'm sure he was. That was a big hit. He had a hit with Shakira. They did a song, Kanan.
I'm saying, was he on the cover of Billboard's first issue? There wasn't ever an issue devoted to Africa.
That's the word.
Right.
Ingratiate. That's the word.
Okay.
We're over here getting deep over here. College education.
Wow. Okay.
Billboard is looking for new avenues to sell magazines, because with the internet today, it's very difficult to get Americans to buy a magazine they can easily see on the internet.
Yeah, physical magazines, I mean, they're still around, but everybody's mostly scrolling now for their news and information.
So what you're telling me, they are looking to find new gems that they can take advantage of.
Well, listen, Nigeria has been a natural resource.
We can't have anything. Architect always talking about
Thousands of years.
We can't have anything nice. Architects always, but
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Like that guy on History with the hair. This is why we can't have nice things. We just want to big up the Nigerians having the artists being big up by a legitimate source like Billboard. They're gracing the cover. It's something, maybe kids can put up on their wall. I mean, kids
and
can
I'm
do
just
that.
warning them. I'm just warning them, we've seen this before. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. So the next story we're looking at is Women of Marvel talks hip hop and Afrofuturism with Samus. Now, this was interesting to me because I'm a Marvel head. I'm cinematic universe, not comic universe. That's how I found it. And when this came up in my feed, it was great because not only were they talking about women in a hip hop artist, a female hip hop artist, they were talking about it in relation to how hip hop has influenced Marvel Comics and how Black Panther represents Afrofuturism. So Samus is an artist who is of, I want to say, also Nigerian descent. I could be wrong. I listened to the podcast. This sister is bad. She is a PhD postdoctoral fellow at Brown University in the music department under science and tech.
Shout out to Brown.
She not only studies it, she's also a rapper and producer, and she teaches a hip hop songwriting class. Now, she said she started with hip hop because it started with a love for the beat she heard in Mario Kart. So she started out, she's a nerd. She's a self-proclaimed nerd. She says she likes video game music. And she said Sonic the Hedgehog was another big one. The music in the background. She liked that sound.
What I found amazing in the comic book realm, as you speak about the female and Afrofuturism in comics, a diehard comic head, and that was a big issue in comic shop talk. People were really pissed off that a lot of these characters were getting female spinoffs. And even more so, of course, with the African American influence, a lot of people were saying basically comic sales were dropping because people refused to buy into
they felt that they were encroaching on their space and they were being gatekeepers.
Exactly.
But she made a good point during the podcast. She said women have always been in these spaces, even if there's been a disparity. So at the time that we've been asking for, female comic writers, female illustrators, female driven characters, I didn't necessarily ask for she Thor, but if Shuri gets her own comic, that should not be a big deal to you. If there is Riri Williams, who is Ironheart, which is a derivative of Iron Man, that should not bother you. It's just another comic in a genre you may not be interested in.
You know what bothers me? I'll tell you what bothers me. The idea of more superhero female characters than there are male characters, because in the world right now, the second biggest earner in America is an African American female. So in this way, it's more belittling the African American male in society by creating more female African American superheroes than the superheroes, male superheroes. So that's a situation we have to be conscious of.
No, I think that I don't know. I don't know that I'm with that, Dave. I think
that's okay.
I think that might be a little bit of ego going on your end. I find that it doesn't matter what the character is, male or female. It matters what the writing is. If the writer,
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, if the writer and the individual that's drawing up the screen, basically it's a screenplay. If that is good, the characters, it could be whatever.
You're promoting division in the African home.
What?
The black male is no longer respected in his home. Okay, we could do an entire 2 hours on that alone. Don't get me started. Okay,
there you go. You just found your new topic. You just found
you go ahead and weird flag.
Do go off. And then come back and you tell me.
It don't matter. It don't matter what outside forces are out there. It matters what the man's doing in his own home that gets him respected.
Don't let him get you distracted. That's bait. The point is,
the
point is that women are being
gonna get me out the water.
No, that's just it. I mean, he knows that just because one person is shining doesn't mean that the other person has been dimmed. So that's
maybe not to you, but in society, our black men can be choked out by a knee because they don't feel that they're worth anything. This is what I'm trying to tell you. When we create a more dominant female of ideology in the African American community, but yet we still promote a male dominant in the Caucasian community, we are always 2 steps behind because we got the white female as well as the black female ahead of us. Forget it.
David, you know what? How about you listen to this? Okay, how about this? Black women have been right there with you every step of the way. We were on that auction block with you. We were right there watching our children being sold and our husbands being sold. We were marching right there next to you with MLK. We were in the same parking lot watching him get shot. And we are right there in the same protest with tear gas cans coming at us. So don't you ever form your lips to say that women think that they should be above black men when motherfucker, there was a woman standing there recording somebody dying.
And you took the bait.
Nobody believes.
No, because I'm not going to sit here and just let him get my pressure up because he thinks that he's making some profound point on some obtuse shit.
Society perpetuates the ideology.
Then go talk to society about it. We're sitting here talking about a Marvel comic book and you trying to expound philosophical on it. What in the actual hell?
is a group of citizens, if not a society. Like
Go find who you're talking about, David, because this ain't it.
Wow. You took the bait.
And you know what? That it tasted good.
You had a rough week. You needed to let some steam off, right? I know. I see what it was.
Stay out of the streets, everyone. Stay out of the streets. Today is not the day to go out in the streets with that type of emotion.
Shit, they just hey, you get Dave talking like that, and just throw Diva out there. She's gonna start the riot by herself. They don't need all them people. Diva be out there tearing it up.
Hey, Diva, are you on the billboard yet?
Go ahead to Billboard.
I'm just saying,
fucked
you know
up
what I'm
in
saying?
here.
With that type of energy, you're going to be on the billboard one day.
So back to the article I was talking about. This sister's really doing big things with her music. You can find her on Instagram and on Facebook. I started following her. She has a couple of singles already out. She's been working on her album, and she really was eloquent in this podcast. I suggest everybody go to marvel.com. The podcast is called Women of Marvel. And I think this was episode 41. I'm not sure, but she really had a lot to say. One thing she's working on that I found really interesting is she is partnering with Glow Up Games, which is a woman and minority-owned studio that is making an Insecure video game, and she's making the music for it. So it's a narrative-style video game based on the show Insecure with Issa Rae. She's making the music for it in the background, and the person gets to like help make the beats that follow the story. And she's working on that with them. They chose her specifically. So she spoke to that. She spoke to Afrofuturism and how it's really interesting that they want to fuse hip hop with that. Black Panther, teased the idea of what a future in Africa would look like. And so she really, made good points about women in hip hop, the spaces that they're in, the spaces they should be in. So I encourage everybody to either look up the podcast, look for her, or check her out on Instagram and Facebook. She's under Samus. It's SAMMUS.
Wow. It's pretty good there. Good stuff there. The gems being dropped. Wow.
Damn,
what's
Dave,
the next article?
You really, man. That was good, Dave. I'll give it to you, man. You really. She may not be showing her face, but she definitely showed her ass on that one, Dave. You got her fired up.
Look, I'll take it all the way back to the auction blocks. Don't get me started.
You don't need to, sweetheart. We got the 21st century we have to face now, not the 18th, 17th. Forget those centuries. We can't do nothing about it.
Never forget it.
We could stop what they
Never
are
forget it.
starting off in the 21st century.
So the next article.
What's the next article?
Pick the next one up is. Let me pull up my.
Oh yeah, so 4 Black women are sitting in the top 2 spots on the Billboard Hot 100. Now I don't know if that's changed since we found this story on Blavity. It's Blavity.com. It's a really cool social media magazine. I started following. So who is it? I think Meg Thee Stallion and Beyonce are number 1, and then it was Doja Cat and Nicki Minaj number 2. So they're counting that as 4 women of color in the top 2 spots on the Billboard 100.
How do you feel about that, Dave?
Well, listen, I'm a big proponent of Meg. I enjoy her music all the time. She hasn't dropped a dud yet, and the remix with Beyonce gave it a boost that she needed to really lay claim to the top spot in Billboard. Now I don't know who are the other artists.
An album yet.
Well, that's political more than it is her lack of talent.
Do you think it's a man at her label that thinks that women are getting too much light and minimizing the value of the man?
I see what you're trying to do there, Mr. John, but that's not what it is. It's a pure contract dispute.
That's a nice callback. That's a nice callback right there.
How much a label's supposed to get from her earnings from them being a part of her creation, and how much they should get from the fact that she is who she is. I mean, when people start investing in these artists. They don't know that they're going to become the huge phenomenon that they become. For instance, Nico the Beast we had on earlier. If someone was to have invested in him a big, large sum of money, we don't know. He could have been bigger than the world has ever seen before in their lives. But he hasn't had that opportunity that I know of. So now Megan Thee Stallion had gotten that opportunity from I forget the label, 1515. One of the labels
1510. Who is the dialect? Is it 1510?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Meg Thee Stallion, to be honest with you.
I'm not familiar. Hey, if Dave's talking to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, Dave. You mentioned all these artists, and you're like, I'm like, okay.
I remember Meg's Tiny Desk concert on NPR. They like selected her to feature her, so they saw something in her back then.
They saw something in her back. I believe that.
You said what you said. They saw something in her back end.
That was Don Juan that said that.
That had to be.
We're gonna belittle the woman because she's talented.
That was Don Juan that said that. I think she's real pretty.
I can't speak to any of it.
Hey, that's as big as the talent goes.
I'll say this. You got to know once you enter the realm of the machine, they focus in on certain aspects, and I'll leave it at that.
It is a machine. I agree.
So what
do you think she's going to come out the other side of that machine for the better or for the worse?
If I followed her, I'd be able to tell you, but I don't, so I can't.
Oh, fine. Okay, what's the next article?
You'll find the machine, and I'll tell you what the end result will be.
You just said it. If somebody put a large sum of money, it's easy. If somebody puts a large sum of money behind a certain artist, who knows where they could end up? That's the machine.
Yeah.
But there's been money spent on artists that have gone nowhere. That's my point.
Everything's a gamble. Everything's a risk.
Everything's a gamble.
It's a risk. It's an investment.
Sierra Marie, anybody?
Well,
so that's
a great risk.
You're a product at that point. They decided they want to invest in the product. And at the end of the day, it's a risk.
Yeah, I agree. Tiny Desk on NPR is a good place to find people.
She would be a hit?
Who?
Meg Thee Stallion. When you first heard her, did you who show of hands? Who, when they heard Meg Thee Stallion the first time, thought she would be as big as she is on Billboard?
Hey, I haven't heard her music first. I saw her music first. I didn't hear her. I saw her.
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't heard her for the first time.
Yeah, me neither. I'll be honest.
I haven't even listened to Hot Girl Summer. I just know about it.
Yeah. She's decent. She's a decent MC though.
Is she?
Yeah. She's not.
Think Hot Girl Summer.
I can tell you that Camp Lo dropped an album. I can tell you that Ill Bill and Nems dropped an album. I can tell you Freddie Gibbs just dropped an album. I can tell you that, but I can't tell you about no Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, Crooked Eye and Joel.
Who in the chat is into Meg Thee Stallion? Tell us in the chat who's into her.
I'm far from a sexist, but I'm not the one that thinks just because you show a fat ass and get all sexy on camera that I'm gonna follow you. I'm not built that way. Like I like the Moo Freshes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and me personally,
artists that you respect outside of Fresh.
I just told you.
Oh,
Moo Fresh is nasty. Have you ever heard of her? No,
I'm not familiar.
I like Young Ma, but that's because I like her flow.
Young M.A.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's whatever realm you deal in. I'm just saying the way that I don't know what the hell Meg Thee Stallion does. There's probably some things I can bring to you that you'd be like, who the hell is that?
Right.
Well, like I said, I'm a mainstream guy. Give me City Girls. Give me Meg Thee Stallion.
Give City Girls.
Nicki Minaj.
He says City Girls. Oh my God.
Give me Cardi B.
Oh hell no. Yo, as a matter of fact, you know what's so funny? Rag sent me a mashup with Cardi B the other day, right? And he's like, yo, why does it make her sound good? He sent it to me. I started listening to it, and I was like, bro, I can't get past the Cardi B part. No, thank you.
See?
John Hart was funny, dude. Shout out to
What John Hart say?
He says Meg Thee Stallion has a lane, and she rides that lane hard.
Well, yeah, that can be a good thing. If you know your lane, you stay in your lane, and that's what you do. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey.
Hey, if Dr. Dre believes that social media destroys artist mystique, then the artists are liars. Because I believe that if most genuine rap is from purity from the heart and it's honesty, so that their mystique is gone anyway. They're already telling the truths on themselves.
So what
Yeah,
Dave is referring to is an article that is in Complex magazine where Dr. Dre was interviewed. I think he rarely gives interviews now. And he was saying that social media these days, the way it stands, takes away that wall that used to be between the fans and the artist, that the artist was just a performer, that the artist was just somebody you only interacted with through the music. Now with social media and every artist wanting to tell all their business all the time, I'm looking at you, Summer Walker, that now there really is no difference. You think you know that person and you should know everything about them, and people get a sense of ownership of that artist. So there's nothing left to know about them because you already know everything. If it wasn't for social media, Meg Thee Stallion wouldn't be as big as she is.
But I kind of agree to a certain extent.
And the wall is called the fourth wall.
No, I
Fourth wall is TV.
I kind of agree with them, right?
It's
so
medium.
The reason why I agree with him, what he's saying is people are getting too much access. It's not about the character being portrayed or what have you. He's saying that you lose some of the lore of that surprise. Like, what have they been up to? What are they doing? But now they watch you taking a shit. You're brushing your teeth. You know what I'm saying? You go and grocery shopping. Nobody wants, and I get it. I get what he's saying. And it's also a new age. I get it. But I agree with him.
Dialect, what say you?
No, I kind of agree with him, but I definitely think social media has helped a lot of people that probably wouldn't have been big artists if there wasn't no social media. Because, back in the 90s, you needed to know somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody just to get your stuff on the radio. Now, social media is the new radio. It is the way for you to get your music out. It is the new MTV. So I think,
SoundCloud.
I think it's a good thing. But if there was social media back then and everybody was in Dre's personal life, you got to ask yourself, when his career had ended, when something took place. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Because he has some.
He has skeletons.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. Social media is about a parasocial relationship, parasocialism. You think you know that person because of the social interactions you receive from that person. So there's too much parasocialism now because people think they know you through Twitter and Facebook and Instagram because you post you and your dog or a picture of your breakfast in Santorini, but you don't know that person. You don't know what they're doing on the low.
The people ain't the ones doing the interaction on social media anyway.
That's not for Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise doesn't tweet anything. You don't know nothing about Tom Cruise except that he's a Scientologist. That's it.
Yeah, but those that choose to broadcast their life on social media, they control what they post. For the majority of them don't post anything that's going to destroy their career. I don't think they do.
Not even an average person on social media is going to post too much craziness.
Yeah. Where y'all been?
It's a highlight.
People are posting out of their minds on social media all the time.
I'm just saying those are the crazy ones. I'm saying the real ones just show you the highlight reel.
Azealia Banks outing Dave Chappelle as a sexual partner.
That's clout chasing.
That don't destroy a person's career?
She made that up. It was Bokeem Woodbine.
What?
They look the same.
Not what?
That's crazy.
What in the fuck?
That came out of left field, but Azalea is a good example of people who don't need even access to social media. Like somebody take her phone because every time she hops up there, she's using it like a therapy session and going the hell off on somebody because she types it out first. It looks up some words and then pastes it into the comment section. She doesn't need social media. But when somebody like Dre comes out and has an interview and says something, people can run to social media and find out everything. Like when his daughter got accepted to UCLA, he was proud of her. He posted it. Everything was all good because that's when the college scandals were coming out with Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. So he was kind of throwing shade saying, oh, my baby got in on her merits. She got in because she's smart. Well, sure enough, everybody ran to social media, dug up what they could and found out that he donated an entire building to UCLA, and everybody started clowning him.
That's right. He shouldn't have got himself involved in that back and forth.
But see, all he did was shout out his baby. Yeah, all he did was shout out his baby, slight shade, and then was proud of her. But everybody ran to social media to go find out. Well, you, and who's his partner? The guy, like the white guy.
Who's that?
Levine.
No.
Oh, who that? Dr. Dre?
Yeah.
Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy
Iovine. Thank you. So apparently he and Jimmy created a course, like a semester-long course you can take, and Dre donated that building. And everybody started clowning him, and Black Twitter was going in, well, you said she did it herself, but turns out you donated a building. You doing the same thing the white people doing. Like, they couldn't let him have that moment with his daughter. Social media, when you expose yourself, man.
Yeah, but I think social media today is definitely something the artists need. Because I remember 50 Cent talking to Lloyd Banks, and he told him that he needs to be on Instagram and Twitter more. And Lloyd Banks said he doesn't think he needs that. And then a year later, he has no career. So I definitely think it's something that the artists definitely need to market themselves.
I definitely think it's a great tool, but do you really need people seeing you take a shit?
I think it's a good.
I never seen nobody take a shit.
You're obsessed with poo.
Of course, I'm stretching it a little bit, but the point being is, like, I don't need to know every fucking thing.
I'm taking a shit right now.
There you have it.
I'm so upset I laughed at that.
My point is, I don't need to know every detail of your damn life.
Just click the unfollow button. Just click the unfollow button. It's that easy.
No, yeah. But I mean, he's got a point. It's one thing to use Instagram as a tool to market yourself. That's what I wish they would do a lot of the time, is let the business manager do Instagram and Twitter. Hey, we've got a concert coming up. These are the dates. Hey, buy this product she's sponsoring. Shout out businesses and performances and stuff like that. And Architect's got a point. I don't need to know that your dog ate a bee and his face blew up. I don't need to know that you and your boyfriend are laying in bed. I hated that challenge so much.
Yeah.
The after sex pic challenge. I was like, please don't. We don't need all that. Yeah, that was a challenge like a year or 2 years ago.
I'm so disconnected off of. Oh my Lord!
I got a question. Should Kylie Jenner be charged with stock manipulation?
Why?
Well, according to Forbes, they manipulated the numbers to give the value of a company to be $1 billion, and then they sold it to someone, and they have seen that the value of the company is not truly what they stipulated, and it's almost a stock fraud if you manipulate the numbers to be something that it's not.
Oh, when you inflate your valuation?
That's right.
Yeah, companies do that all the time. I am a Shark Tank aficionado, and they do. I mean, that's just what they do. That happens all the time.
She inflated it almost $500 million.
I mean, if Forbes fell for that, that's on them.
Hey, Dave, and Jay-Z went through the same thing. I forget the name of the company. Tidal went through the same thing with Jay-Z. Jay-Z bought Tidal from a Swiss company, and as it turns out, they inflated their numbers just to get a higher bid. And Jay-Z is still in the protracted lawsuit with them now over that. So it does happen pretty obvious, pretty common.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have your CPAs look through that really well.
Did Jay-Z recoup off that? Did he recoup off that though? Did he
recoup the loss?
I think they're in litigation. I think it's an ongoing litigation.
That remains to be seen, because all this is a guess. Your market valuation is you guessing, and you're multiplying your sales by what you think your profit's going to be next year. And you're trying to tell people, well, I think we're going to do 10 million next year. So if you multiply that by this, then we think we're worth $1.5 billion. What happens if the pandemic hits and now you're worth zip?
Yeah, but if Forbes stipulates that you are worth $1 billion, aren't they liable as well?
Is Forbes liable?
Yes.
No, because they were just the publisher. They just reported what she told them. Now, if they didn't fact check it, yeah, they look dumb. But for her to tell them, well, my market valuation is $1 billion or whatever she told them, and they ran with it, that's on them. But like Catherine's saying, that's due diligence. And Brian Raganese is saying it happens 100% of the time.
I don't know if I'll ever see $1 billion in my lifetime, but I'm rest assured that if I'm going to fucking buy something that they tell me is worth $1 billion, I'm digging in that ass before I spend a dime.
Right. You're supposed to have forensic accountants go through that. You're supposed to have everybody going through that. Like, pick somebody from Iowa that has nothing but time on their hands to just comb through their books. Like, you don't just take their word for it. So if Forbes said, okay, Kylie, you told us your market valuation is 1.5. Thanks. We're going to put you on the cover. We're going to make this list. We're going to give you a 4-page spread, blah, blah, blah. That's on them. Like, that's your stupid ass.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that.
But that is a way of social media also penetrating society, making up things, and creating facts.
I think Kylie just used it as a tool like she was supposed to. She got herself big enough as a quote unquote influencer, thanks Kim, to get herself big enough to have an audience to buy all her like ColourPop, rip off lip glosses. So when she got big enough and they sold that company, she included that in her valuation. And that's how she got so big. So social media, absolutely, she used it as a tool. Now we know way too much about her because of social media, but she absolutely used it as a tool the way everybody else has now. Now, when it comes to music, SoundCloud is a reason a lot of people get discovered now. YouTube is a lot of ways that people get discovered now. And those are really the only outlets the true hip hop artists who are independent have now.
Yeah, Bandcamp.
So, Diva, since you seem to understand this more clear than I can comprehend, explain to me how Donald Trump is going to charge me for saying anything that I said on any of the social media platforms that I use that is untrue.
Oh, you mean the regulation he wants to introduce?
Yes.
Okay, so Donald Trump is mad because Twitter, as a private business, feel that he violated their terms and conditions of their service. And so when he put out the tweet, and I know Architect can correct me, he put out a tweet about mail-in ballots. And so all they did was add a little fact check flag. They just said, click on this link to double check. And that's a good thing. That's a responsible thing to do. Well, of course, he came out hissing and spitting and said, that's it. You're trying to suppress me, free speech, blah, blah. So then the next time he posted something about COVID-19, and they just straight up blocked it because the facts were incorrect. Well, then he introduces an executive order. Now, executive order really doesn't mean anything until Congress acts on it. He wants somebody to tell Twitter basically to stop censoring him.
Well, I'm going to say,
go ahead.
I'm going to say this about the censoring. In all of my troll-tastic ways on Facebook and Instagram, there's been things that I've went to post that definitely got blocked and got censored. So that it's definitely happening. It's going on, and for Zuckerberg to even come out of the side of his alien face to say that no social media platform should be censoring, Facebook is.
We are not the arbiters of truth, is what he said.
Right, but they do it. They do it, and I'm just saying that because along my troll-tastic ways on the internet, I've come across it. So
you're right. You're absolutely right. And they he's including a lot. He's just throwing all sorts of things into the kitchen sink. Trump is saying that now he wants social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook to be regulated because he feels they are suppressing conservative voices specifically. And he also feels that they are acting as publishers and not forums. And that gives the social media companies a broad space to act. It gives them a lot of liability protection because Trump is sue happy. Anybody says something bad, he wants to sue them for libel and slander. Well, he can't with Twitter and Facebook because of their liability protection. So what he wants somebody to look into, and he should have talked to lawyers first, is the idea of taking away that liability protection so that he can sue them. What Twitter is arguing is that they are not a publisher, they are a forum. And Facebook, same thing. They're like, we're a forum. And Mark Zuckerberg has always said, people post what they want on here. We are not the ones who publish it. And that's what he hides behind. So what Trump is trying to do is get somebody to regulate that, take that liability protection away so that he can sue them and do what he wants. Now, two things.
Fucking liar.
two things. Republicans are supposed to be small government, big business. So that surprises me. And he's the big deregulation guy. So I'm like, really? Okay, dude. Second, this does not involve your free speech because this is a private company. You agree to terms and services. They can yank his whole account if they want to. So if he wants to hiss and spit, he can just get off Twitter and like go someplace like Stormfront and have a big old time. So the other thing about that, David, is that it would take Congress to come up with new legislation to accompany this executive order. So Trump can make an executive order all he wants to, but Congress is the one that has to legislate, and that's why I'm so grateful that there are three branches of government.
So what I fail to understand is, does this mean Donald Trump doesn't have freedom of speech?
No, it has nothing to do with his freedom of speech. He has it, but Twitter does not owe him his freedom of speech. They're a private business. If you want to use them as a platform, remember we were just saying social media is a tool. He doesn't have to use that tool. If he doesn't agree to their terms of service and he doesn't like the way they do business, bye.
So if I was to go out there and say that I got two heads, they're going to put a flag to say this is not true?
Only if it's in relation to anything that they feel would confuse people. If you say you have two heads, go right ahead. But when it comes to misinformation about mail-in ballots or COVID-19 or anything like that, they are doing their due diligence and they're flagging it. For the dummies, it's the reason shampoo has instructions.
For my two heads?
Because you may shampoo one and think you can also drink it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he probably could shampoo.
It's the reason blow dryers has that tag on it. Please don't use near the bathtub. No, I mean, they have to do their due diligence as well, because people are always coming out the woodwork trying to sue them and say, you know, I saw this on Twitter and you said my hair dye wouldn't hurt, and it does. So they've got to put flags on things. They've got to start doing that. And plus, you got to remember, this started when the 2016 election cycle was going on, and there was evidence of Russian interference. So they started putting this in place back then. They just didn't use it very often. Now that the election season from this year is ramping up, they're starting to really trot it out. And that's what's making Trump mad. And, oh, you're suppressing our conservative views. You only use this on conservatives. And they're like, well, you're the ones spouting bullshit most of the time. So what? Statistics.
Can we go back to the two heads? You kind of lost
me. You want David to talk about his two heads?
No. Sorry, I almost choked. Choked with excitement.
No, there's a difference. If David says he has two heads on his Twitter, that's not something that's of national importance. That's not necessarily going to hurt the general public. It's all about the general public. So if David goes out and says, I have two heads, everybody's going to be like, okay, and? But if Trump is out there saying that, you know, hydroxychloroquine is going to cure COVID-19, they got to flag it.
So if Dave says, I got two heads and one of them got COVID.
That's still personal. That's not something that's going to harm the general public. It's all about the general public. What?
It only affects the president then. Because that's the only one people will follow. He's the leader.
Right. So people think that what he says goes. You remember when he was first saying there was something, and when it was like an aquarium pellets, and some dude ate it and died because he said that's why Twitter does that. Perfect example. My personal opinion, Twitter is a forum. Facebook is a forum. They are not publishers. So I don't think they can do anything to regulate them. But I know Architect has a different take on it.
Well, Sunday night, we're going to have the well-informed Diva Views to congregate and conversate with all of our citizens out there that has any questions about what occurred this week with poor George Floyd and the authorities of Minneapolis. And joining her is the other well-informed, my arch nemesis I found out tonight, Architect 7.
I was his arch nemesis.
I may do a special. You're both my arch nemesis. Let me tell you. I may do a special drop in to converse with my arch nemesis before we go to battle.
Real quick, before that, I overheard you guys say that I made different opinion as far as Facebook and Twitter just not being a publisher, and I agree with that. But don't get on put up a video talking about social media shouldn't be censoring this, that, and the third when you the biggest culprit.
What you mean?
Facebook is the biggest culprit for that.
For censoring?
For fact checking and all that. He said social media should not be fact checking any information. And Facebook is the biggest one.
They're the biggest one, yeah. I've seen
as Zuckerberg.
They have definitely. He just doesn't want the responsibility. He wants to sit in Hawaii on other people's land. They are the biggest ones that will tell you this poster is from Canada. Be careful. This, article has not been vetted. Blah blah. They do put as many flags up there as Twitter. But what he's trying to argue is that Twitter's saying we're going to tell you what's true. Facebook is saying we're never going to tell you that. We're just going to let you make your own decision. And I don't see how that's the case. He doesn't want to be an arbiter of truth, but at the same time, he wants to benefit from it. It's like pick one.
Yeah, they shut me down up front, and I'm on some joke time, so I already know.
Zuckerberg had to go to that congressional hearing during the 2016 election that said that they were promoting fake news and that they were actually involved in providing those that weren't able to get proper news with false ideologies that supported Donald Trump and his quest for the
what's the matter? You're not a publisher, right? So why do you care? Right. That's my point.
They care because if Russians are using their platform to disseminate misinformation about the election and they're trying to be agitators and stir up trouble, then it makes the platform look bad, which will make stocks tumble, which you have a responsibility to your shareholders to, provide their dividends. So that's the only reason he's worried.
Well,
and that's the only reason he went to Congress.
Okay, so Fox News and CNN is putting out fake shit too. So, okay. What are we talking about?
Okay, but Fox News is for entertainment purposes only. They say it in their mission statement themselves.
So is CNN.
And CNN always either retracts or they say when they're wrong.
Yeah, right.
They're combatant models to Fox News. You have CNN and you have MSNBC. You have other entities that do a counter to what they offer. Now, Facebook doesn't have that counter. There's no Facebook 2. There's no
competitor.
No, listen, the counter is the individuals that are playing a part within Facebook. Those are the counters.
I mean, but they're still using Facebook as a platform, though. So are they really counterculture if they're using Facebook?
So my point is you got differing opinions. Is basically what it all sums up to, right? So what's the difference between homeboy from, I don't know, Southwestern Virginia with a MAGA hat and somebody from New York having two different opinions and going at it on Facebook? It's no different than CNN and Fox doing what they do. It's just on a more
watch BBC
level. So I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, are they just a platform that people are exercising their rights? They say they're not a publisher, so then why are you stepping in the fray?
Because they're a private business and they can control what is posted.
Then don't get on TV and act like you ain't censoring shit. That's all I'm saying. Be honest.
They can be. I don't think they have to say that they're. I don't think they have to say they're censoring, because if you signed up for the terms and service, you know what it is. You know what it is. You knew what this is about when you got with me.
Yeah, so they liars. Next.
How are they liars?
I don't know. What is the Bash Brothers?
The Bash Brothers. That's every Tuesday night, 8 to 9. That is DJ Rags and DJ Scruff. They'll be bringing you some of the dopest underground hip hop and mashups. And that's that. DJ
How do you
Rags.
submit music to them?
What's that?
How do you submit music to them?
They're the purveyors, man. They are the ones that are spinning. If there's any underground artists out there that would like music played, we'd be happy to review it. I think Juan said he'd do that. Is that right?
Where is Don Juan?
I think he's working the boards. Anyway,
Okay.
Bash Brothers is mix show Tuesday 8 to 9, and of course with Rags being from the Bay Area, they took on that name. What was it? Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire.
That's correct.
But they are in DJ form now. So, and they don't do steroids. You can obviously tell if you look at them.
Oh my goodness, the shade.
I'm just saying they don't do steroids. I'm saying they're healthy guys. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Well, let's give some shout outs to the citizens that hung out with us tonight.
Oh yeah, in the chat we got Brian Raganese, we got Catherine Stenter, who has been with us from the beginning. All right, Catherine, put money on our books if we end up in Facebook jail. We got Aaron Jones, we've got Brian Starks was with us earlier, Gary was with us earlier. We had K Beta and John Harp in the YouTube chat. Y'all ride with us on YouTube, even though it's booty over there. But always make sure to check us out on the different platforms that we have available for you guys. Share the streams, let people know where you're hearing the good conversations and you feel like a member of the show. We always encourage you guys to call in, but y'all seem a little shy.
Hey, Rags, post your email. Rags just chimed in and said if you got any dope hip hop, send it his way. Rags, go ahead in the comments and drop the email in there, man.
Yeah. Send them up to Hiphopcitizen. We'll make sure we get directly to Rags. Rags,
and somebody give Architect some beer recommendations.
What's that?
Aaron Jones said that they love beer. I'm like, yeah, send Architect some beer recommendations.
You don't have to send it to me. I'm gonna send it to them. Nah, and don't forget, man. Don't forget to plug Sunday. I know we had a lot of people that were early on. They wanted to discuss the riots and what have you. That's going to be Sunday, and we're going to start that at 8:00 too. And feel free to call in. I really do want to have Nico back on. I like his.
Yeah, that would be good.
And Dave. I know Dave will have a lot to say. And I don't think that we're arch nemesis on that angle. So I think it's going to be a good show.
We're definitely coming together to have a discussion.
You guys are picking on those good white people out there trying to save us from them crazy blacks.
Hey, man. Hey, the majority of those rioters, man, you got to give it to them, man. They can't tell us anymore that it's all white against all black, because now the crowd is so diverse at this point. The shade
the looting crowd is diverse.
The wool is getting pulled from over the eyes of society.
The last time I looked on Facebook, because I use Facebook as a news aggregate, I want it to bring me all the news sites I follow. So the last picture I saw was a lineup of protesters against a wall, and there was a line of white people in a chain with masks on. And when I first saw the image, I was like, oh, hell no. They were protecting the protesters from the line of riot police.
Yeah,
that's what it's starting to turn into.
That's what I was bugging. I was bugging when Donald Trump, or when they were trying to say those thugs. I'm like, well, if you look, like, you can't categorize thugs at this point with what you're seeing out there. So.
I mean, it definitely turned. We want everybody to feel free to call in too. We're going to have the link posted. If you want to call in and just vent, if you're in the Twin Cities or you're in a city that has protests and solidarity going on, we hope you guys are staying safe. Stay out of those areas, because there are a lot of agitators out as well. I know people have seen that news article going around.
Yeah.
Please be careful. If you want to participate in the protest, be careful. Take a mask. There are forums on the internet where you can find out how to protest safely. And you know who's leading those forums? Palestinians. Wow. Who else knows how to protest safely? They will tell you how to make gas masks for yourself. They will tell you how to kick away tear gas canisters. Look them up.
DJ Khaled. You know,
DJ Khaled.
Well, Khaled's also Palestinian.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, but listen, I just want to, just before we forget, before we go too far, I just want to remind everyone, if you have those songs or demos that you want to send them in, bring them into the attention right there on the screen. Brian.Raganese@gmail. He'll get them into the mix.
Hey, Raganese.
Raganese. Get it to Raganese.
Oh, okay. Reganisi.
Over here.
Over here.
Fucking guy.
So, do we have Nico the Beast queued up?
I am working on that, Dave. You know what I'm saying? While we get the socials up, so I can bring it
Man,
up.
I have to say, man, as we all sit here, man, these past few weeks and the way that we built this show and the way that it's coming together, man, we family, man. Like, I got love for y'all. I think it's important that something of that note is said at this point because of all the drama that's going on. Love all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that
Give your
rocks with us, I
flowers.
love y'all. You
Give
know what
your
I'm
flowers
saying?
while they here.
Yeah,
So I'm enjoying this, man. I'm enjoying this, and I'm looking forward to bringing this to new heights, and I'm looking forward to bringing in other individuals that can help us elevate this game, man. I'm really enjoying it.
So everybody shout
Well,
out
I
your
appreciate
socials
you
to the
all.
people.
I'll go first because that's the only time I get to go first on this show. Dave Simonism on all platforms except Twitter because I've been banned like Donald Trump. And another thing, I noticed that on Mr. Conan O'Brien's show last night, he had a segment called Things That We Have to Kiss Goodbye Since COVID-19. And one of them was passing the joint. And I like to tell all my brothers and sisters out there, no longer pass the joint, no longer pass the alcohol, no longer pass the cigarette. It's killing us. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dialect. Follow that if you can.
Yeah, you guys can find me Dialect718 on Twitter, Instagram, Hiphopcitizen on Facebook. And I just wanted to shout out Grace Martin in the chat room.
Yeah, shout out Miss Martin.
Hey, Grace.
Am I doing better with my cursing?
You're so much improved. I made up for it tonight though.
Yeah. And did you finish Dialect? You didn't finish.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, he's done. It's your turn.
Architect 7. You can find me on Instagram. That's where I rock out. And if you really want to get involved with my trolltastic ways, it's John Kaopua, Kaopua on Facebook. If you don't like it, don't follow me. Okay, bye.
I'm Diva Views, currently broadcasting live from the basement of Roscoe's Rib Shack and Oil Change. We like it greasy. If you insist on knowing more about me, I have created an Instagram. It's Diva Views, and I have a Facebook, Diva Views Citizen. I don't have anything on there, but if you want to look at a couple of food places I follow, it is what it is. And we're gonna go ahead and go to Don Juan the Mac to close us out.
Is he ready?
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
There you
Oh, yeah. Test. And, of course, you can always find me at Don Juan D back on Instagram and, of course, at Hiphopcitizen on all social media platforms as well. And be sure to tune into the Bash Brothers and also our special report on Sunday. And I just want to see if we can get you guys closed out with Nico the Beast. Give me another second there, guys. I'm going to close us out here and get this queued up for us.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, put the banner up.
Hey, Diva, you really did get the bait, though. You took the bait.
It was delicious.
the
I
whole
put
time
hot sauce on it
Dave sat back and was like, got him.
and dipped it in ketchup and ranch. Damn it.
You like your sauce. You need to get up out of that rib shack.
I need to leave the basement.
You need to find a gym.
I do need to find a gym.
Who you
No, I'm just messing with
They need to open them up.
Man, you know how dirty gyms are?
I wipe everything down before I get on it, and after I get
I do
off,
the same thing.
good.
Work out at home.
you. I haven't been to gym since high school.
We can tell.
Easy. Because we can't tell anything about you.
That's right. I am incognito.
But it does. See, and I that's why I'm like, I don't agree with Dr. Dre. It adds to the mystique.
Ta-da.
See how that works?
I'm an enigma wrapped in a mystery, solved by a puzzle.
Wow.
Bullshit.
You know what?
That's what it is.
So we had Nico.
Yeah, we got the Nico the Beast joint coming up.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for rolling with us the whole time.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Happy music. Peace. So sometimes I just want to close the room door, turn this shit up on loud, and bang my motherfucking head until I need therapy. You know what I'm talking about? I say, what I gotta do? Pop up, clock up, cock up, make you buck up, buck up. After 3 rounds you need, buck up, buck up. Cops around, police telling them, back up, back up. Help hurry, yo, this boy won't get buck up, buck up. What happened? All I heard was nigga, buck up, buck up. Then the shots like, buck up, buck up. Then a distant voice in the back saying, what up now, motherfucker? I seen this thing before, I think the league is back together. Just the other day I seen Almighty and Boo bless her. Then who joins the two, Nico and Wreck Raw? And these 4 assholes, I wanna nail them to the wall. And this other cat bald, never seen him before, but I believe I know him. I think the others call him Slim. This 30 and over shit is an issue, official tissue. By all means, these motherfuckers mustn't get through.
I'm a dynamo, you a dinosaur with dino flows. You squat pussy, I'm the gyno. Ho, you get this dick in your vagina hole. My bar's harder than a cannon full of rhino bones. Trying to tell you we the livest shows, full of hard knocks, and I'm about to make the honor roll. It's time we put this shit to bed about who the best, about who the ruler of the roost. I'ma rule the rest, cool as chess. A couple stipulations, it's a bad situation, don't lose your head. Keep it cool and you can walk away with pride in hand. And you can be brave, I'll tell your fan that you died a man. Provided you don't try to make no sudden moves, this could go smooth. Think of what you had to lose. Think about the baby in the crib, at your crib with your lady humming sweet tunes while she rubbing on his head. Hush, little